The NBA Mount Rushmore, the pinnacle of basketball greatness, the Olympus of basketball, the highest of honors a player can achieve. In our minds, it is the place where only the best of the best can enter and stay. It is the home of the top 10 greatest NBA players of all time, the basketball GOATs. Everybody has a top 10, a Mount Rushmore of basketball of sorts, but not everyone is right. So here, I will be sharing an objective look at what a Mount Rushmore of basketball should look like. And if you disagree, then go cry in the comment section. Okay? Great, let us commence. Before starting, I would like to address a few things. Number one is that I will not be ranking the players within the top 10 of mine. I will simply give you the top 10 as it is, so that you guys can put them in whatever order you guys prefer. Now let us not waste any more time and get straight to it. Our first nominee for Mount Rushmore of basketball is none other than the most unstoppable and dominant force of nature the NBA has ever seen, and that is Shaquille O'Neal. 4 championships, 3 finals MVPs, 1 regular season MVP, and averaging an entire double-double throughout his career, and being considered on top of that the most dominant player to ever play in the history of the game. Yeah, Shaquille definitely deserves a spot in this list. Next on our list, we have someone who many of you are definitely going to be complaining and crying in the comments about, but I do not care. He is the greatest shooter in the history of the sport, the greatest 3-point shooter of all time, 4-time champion, 2-time league MVP, unanimous league MVP, and last year's finals MVP, Stephen Curry, definitely deserves a spot in this list, because let's not forget, this man literally changed the way the game is played today. Following Steph comes just another great shooter of all time, a man that changed the perception of the white man playing basketball, one of the greatest shooters of all time, and Magic Johnson's rival, Larry Bird. A 3-time champion, 2-time finals MVP, 3-time league MVP in an era with Magic, Kareem, and many other all-time greats. Larry Joe Bird definitely deserves to be in the Mount Rushmore of basketball. Now we have a man, the myth, the legend, the guy who scored the most points in a single game in league history, a literal walking 30 and 20, a giant, and probably one of the greatest athletes of his time is Wilt Chamberlain, a 2-time champion, 1-time finals MVP, and 4-time league MVP, as well as being Bill Russell's rival. Yeah, Wilt definitely deserves a spot in the Mount Rushmore of basketball. After Wilt, we got the rival himself, the man who the finals MVP was named after, Bill Russell. An 11-time champ and 5-time MVP. He is literally the definition of the double-double and of a winner, literally averaging 22.5 rebounds per game. Yeah, Mr. Russell cemented his place on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. Following Mr. Russell, our next candidate for basketball Mount Rushmore is none other than the living personification of Killer Will, the embodiment of no pain, no gain, the man who inspired a generation and followed the footsteps of the GOAT, the guy believed to be, by many, the second coming of Jordan, the progenitor of Mamba mentality, the Black Mamba himself, aka Kobe Bean Bryant. Kobe, Mr. 8 and 24, is a true legend with 5 rings, 2 finals MVPs, and the 4th highest record in the all-time scoring list. A league MVP, and I know this isn't related to basketball, but the man won a freaking Oscar. My guy definitely deserves a spot in the basketball Mount Rushmore. After Kobe, we have another all-time great Laker on this list. Probably the second greatest ladies man in the history of basketball. The lead on the great Showtime Lakers, Mr. Magic himself, Irvin Magic Johnson. A 5-time champion, 3 times Finals MVP, and 3-time League MVP. Magic was legit. To this day, still believed to be the greatest point guard in the history of the league. After Magic, we fall on to what most basketball connoisseurs have in their top 3 players of all time. The order tends to vary from person to person, but these 3 tend to be present in most of people's top 10s and their top 3s of all times. At number 3, yes, I know, I said I wouldn't rank, but screw it. At number 3, I have now the second greatest scorer of all time. The 6-time MVP, 6-time NBA champion, as well as 2-time Finals MVP. The man who invented the most unstoppable move in the game of basketball, Kareem Abdul the Skyhook Jabbar. Oh boy, now I'm getting into real deep waters. But I ain't scared of what y'all have to say. If you have seen my LeBron James vs Michael Jordan video, which I highly recommend, you might already know who my number 1 and number 2 are in the specific order. But if you haven't, please go watch it now and come back later. Did you watch it? Okay, at number 2 all time and my second pick for basketball Mount Rushmore, I have none other than the kid from Akron, the chosen one, the king, aka LeBron James. He is now the greatest scorer in the history of the league, a 4-time champion, 4-time MVP, 4-time Finals MVP. The man might be a bit of a crybaby, but he is without a doubt the most complete basketball player of all time and my number 2. And for my number 1, oh please, you all know who it is, it's Michael Jordan. The GOAT, his airness, 5th in the all-time scoring list, 6 champions, 6 Finals MVPs, 5-time League MVP. Jordan is an easy pick for 90% of basketball connoisseurs like myself, and is without a doubt, by the numbers and the eye test, my pick for the greatest player of all time. A few honorable mentions that didn't make the list would be Tim Duncan, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Kevin Durant. Now thank you all for watching, and please subscribe and share this video if you enjoyed it. I will be doing more basketball comparisons and analysis in the future. I'm currently trying to get the 1000 subscriber goal, so I appreciate the help. Now, have a great day and see you on the next video on the fictional Matrix.